another project, because, you know, that's what I do. I start a new project when I still have 2 or 3 that I'm working on that are more important. But this one's pretty cool. I got it a while ago, used, not running, and it basically was just taking up a ton of space in the garage for a while, and I was tripping over it and stepping on it. So I took it to the local hobby shop and to see if they could sell it for me. And they couldn't get it running. And then they said that they can't sell it not running because whoever buys it is going to ask them to fix it for them, and they couldn't fix it. So I brought it back home yesterday, and this morning I got it running. So yeah, all I did, I took the carburetor apart. You see, the guy I got this from said that it had been setting in his attic or garage or whatever for 6 years, and, you know, not running all that time. So I just assumed that the carburetor was probably all fouled up. And on these carburetors, there's a cover right on the bottom that's just held on by one big screw right in the middle. You take that cover off, and there's a screen filter. It's a really fine wire mesh screen, and that usually gets kind of glazed over. So I took that out, sprayed it all off, cleaned it up with some degreaser, put it back together, shot some starter fluid in it, yanked on the cord, and it started right up. Put some new gas in the tank, and it starts fairly easily now. So, in the process of cleaning it up and checking it out more, I noticed that the rear drive shaft on that side was bent, like, pretty bad. And, I'll show you that here in a minute. And the drive shaft on that side, can we see it? The rubber boot is torn. And, so you can get a good view of that. The rubber boot in there, yeah, you can see it right there. That rubber boot's torn. So, and where's the drive shaft? Why am I asking you? You don't know where the drive shaft is. I'm the one who lost it. The drive shaft is somewhere, but I pulled it out of this one, and it was just kind of twisted and bent back. I don't know how I never noticed it before. So I went on eBay. I ordered a radio unit, transmitter, receiver, because this does not have a receiver or transmitter. It has the servos, throttle servo, steering servo, all of that is there. It needs cleaned up. I'll probably just spray all this off, wipe it off with the towel, clean it all up, clean all this up, all that up in here, I'll clean all that up. I'll probably pull the fuel tank out and I'll clean it up, and I'll dump the old fuel and put good fresh fuel in it. I took this part off of the engine before. This is only held on with a couple of screws so I could pull the rope, but that's got to come back off to put that other cover back in. Clean it all up. I ordered 2 drive shafts because they come with little rubber boot things. So since one was all bent up and the other one has a torn boot, I'll just replace both of them together at the same time. So when I get it all back together, oh, and I ordered a new filter. I don't know if I said that or not. Ordered a new air filter. The sponge element of that was just all falling apart and just crumbling and making a mess. So I have spent today approximately $50 on eBay for the transmitter, receiver, the filter, and the drive shafts. So I should have a pretty decent, this is the 1/5 Baja 5B. Yeah, I think it's the 5B. It's the version 2.0. So it's an older one. The guy who gave it to me, like literally gave it to me, because he said he hadn't used it in like 6 years, and he was either going to give it to somebody or throw it away, so I definitely took it. I offered to pay him. He didn't want any money. He's just getting out of the hobby. So $50 invested into this, and I should have a pretty decent gasser here. So anyways, when I get it put back together and cleaned up, and I do have all the body parts, they're just laying in a pile on the other side of the garage. So when I get it all back together, we'll take it out and drive it around. So look what I got in the mail today. Hot off of eBay. It's the Fly Sky, I don't know, it's a transmitter receiver unit. Now this is the same unit that I use on two of my other cars. I think you could actually have up to 10 receivers on one transmitter. And I'm using one for my Grasshopper and one for that yellow race car that I have to fix because I put a brushless motor in it and I stripped out the gears. So I got one for this Buggy, and I got a separate one instead of just a receiver because I eventually will plan on selling this thing with the transmitter all ready to run and everything. And you can pick these up on eBay anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks. And I have not read any reviews. I don't know what people are saying about them. I don't know if the general public thinks they're junk or if they think they're great. But for less than 30 bucks, you can't beat it. And I've had nothing but good luck with them. This is my, well actually this is only my second one I've gotten like this. But I was so pleased with the first one that I bought one for this Buggy. So, all I got to do is unbox that, put the stuff in. Got to put the receiver in there, and I also got, let me set this down, I also got in the mail the other day the new air cleaner. So nice and bright red. That'll stand out like a sore thumb. But it was cheap and it'll work, and I needed it. I just have to put it in a little holder thing. And I got the drive shaft, new drive shaft and new boots there. And on the other side, remember that one was just bent up, mangled, and that one the boots were torn. And also, when I took that one out on that side, I noticed that it had been repaired before. The little pin, I don't even know if I can show it or not. Let's see if this focuses. One of the pins, not that one. Let me see, maybe it's this one. Yeah, that one, look at that. They replaced one of those pins with a piece of screw and they cut the head off. So yeah, I'm glad I replaced that. You know, I'm sure it was probably okay, but yeah, I don't want that in there. So I got to go to the hobby shop. I need to buy a battery for the receiver. Since this is a gas motor, I need a battery for the receiver that'll sit in there. And I just found out my local hobby shop is closing this coming Monday, and which is kind of sad because I like going in there. And I know I said they couldn't get this thing running after 6 months, but to be fair, he was trying to get it running without taking anything apart because I told him that I was wanting to sell it, and I couldn't afford to pay him to try to fix it, really. So he was trying to start it without having to take it apart, because if he started taking it apart, then he'd had to charge me for repair services and all that, and I told him I didn't want to pay for anything. So, and it had to come apart to fix it, so, you know, give them some credit. I didn't mean to sound negative towards them, but yeah, they are closing soon. So, on one hand, hate to see them go, but hopefully they'll have a pretty good sale here within the next day or two, and I'll be able to get that receiver battery for pretty cheap. Plus I'm out of a few other things like glue and stuff. So yeah, hopefully by this weekend we'll have this thing up and running and driving around, and we'll see how it goes. So let me get this thing together, and probably the next shot will be this thing all together and outside ready to run. It's stuck? Alright, I'll go get it. So there's no audio for this one because it's taken from my friend's drone, which, you know, if there was audio from a drone, you'd only hear the noise of the drone. So instead of adding some tacky music for everybody to complain about, just enjoy the next few clips in silence. So one thing I forgot to show you before we took it out was, actually that was the second time we took it out. The first time we took it out, I got it started and then it died, and when I was trying to restart it, the whole starter just went to crap. So I had to order a new one. And I wanted to show you, when I went online to order a new one, there were a few things I was looking at as far as which one to get. And there were two reasons why I picked this one. One reason was because the plastic part in the old one that broke on this one is metal. And also, if you take a look at the brand name here, and I may have to zoom into that or focus on that better, but the brand name of that, if we take a look here, can you read that? How cool is that? Of course I had to buy that one. It has the word dragon on it. You can also see a whole bunch of grass in here, and I think that's why it got stuck in at one point, and we had to stop the video, had to walk out and grab it, because I think it was just too caked in and packed in with the grass, and it just got bogged down. The wheels were still spinning, it just wasn't going anywhere. So the first clip there that you saw was me recording and my friend driving, and you could hear his son in the background towards the end asking, why he was driving my car, and it was just because I wanted to take the video. The clips after that are of me driving, and he was recording with his drone. So anyways, I just got to take this thing outside. I have to blow all the grass out of it because it's caked with grass up inside pretty well. The wheels are all caked full of grass. So I just got to clean it up. Trying to decide if I want to keep it or sell it. I don't really have a good place to keep it and run it. But I would hate to let go of it. I would hate to get rid of it just because it is a cool car. Kind of hard to control. It gets a little bit squirrely and hard to keep in a straight line, but man, it's a blast driving around. So anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. And as always, thanks for watching.